Welcome. Sorry we're slightly late. Took me a while to get ready today, so I'll take the blame. But we have a great show. We are going to get to the receivers we did not get to last week. We didn't get to them, but this week we will. We will get to them. We're gonna go. Last week we did the top 5. This week we're gonna go to about somewhere between 25 and 30. We're gonna go about additional 25 to 30, additional 20 to 25 more players, because that's the main range. That's the main range of players in a redraft format. That's going to be the core of your team to some degree. We start a lot of wide receivers. Some leagues start 3. So, these are going to be important players for 2022. And even if you're not playing redraft, let's say you're playing Dynasty, it's important to know how these players stack up for 2022, because if you're competing or if you're rebuilding and you want to sell to someone who's competing, it'll give you a good idea of what kind of value to look for. So that's what we have coming up on the show. So welcome back, everyone. Let's go around and just kind of give some life updates or anything you want to say? We can start with the guests. So Hutch, go first.
Honestly, nothing crazy going on this week. Sorry, guys. I don't have any crazy fun stories. But life's just been going great. And I'd appreciate if you all go follow me on Twitter at TYFMNFL if you don't already.
Oh gosh, I don't know how to go diagonal with the arrows.
It's tough. Yeah.
Usually
Here for me.
Yeah, you never point in the right direction. It's always so tough to point in the right direction.
But no, that's good to hear. Sometimes, crazy isn't the best thing. So
yeah,
I had a nice weekend at a beach house with my friend celebrating her 25th. So
nice.
I'm burnt as a lobster, but we're here. I'm ready to talk some football.
Worth it. Always worth it.
Oh yeah,
of course.
I got nothing crazy either. I got back into writing though, so I'm happy about that. But that's about it.
Ryan, you're under fire
again every time.
Look, I like this new lighting. This new lighting that I have is great because you can see me great and you can't see anything else. You can't see anything else. You can't see the background. You can't see my bed. You can't see it anyway because of the way the angle is, but you can't see it. You can't see whether my bed, which is not made right now, by the way, but you can't see it. I told you my bed is never made, never, but you can't see it. So
I'm like the same way. My bed is almost never made. But
my bed is almost never made either.
If I had a background like you, Tyler, I would not show it off either. I'd like you did.
I never make my bed because I'm lazy. And even though I probably should, my bed is. We're not going there. Maybe I want to, but we're not going there. I probably should make my
bed is made Mondays from 3 to 4:30.
Wow.
Commitment to the show.
Now we know. Now we know. Now you'll never be able to live that down.
Now we know.
People just heard it. They heard what Ryan said. This is already going off the rails.
Ryan, you know we're live, right?
What?
Ryan, you were live, right?
So, yeah, I will say, and this, I promise, this is gonna last like a minute. I will say, if you're on Twitter, you saw what I posted on Twitter about, supporting women's right to choose, being pro-choice, etc. Whatever you want to call it. You saw what I posted. It's out there. I don't regret posting it. I certainly stand by it. It's how I felt for years, my whole life, really. Nothing's ever changed. I still feel that way now that we're on the show, obviously. I won't back down from that. And, I'm not sorry that I posted it. And I think that, look, I realize that this show is mostly an escape for people. And I want to keep it that way. This isn't going to be a political soapbox. This conversation is not going to last very long. But I just wanted to say that that's how I feel. And I want people to follow me and watch my show for me. And that's me. That's how I feel. And I'm not going to change my mind. So, if you don't like it, you don't, and that's why you don't want to watch my show or follow me on Twitter, go. I don't care. I want you guys to follow me for me, and I'm not going to be someone else. And I think we know that I don't do that. I don't do bullshit on this show. I don't if I say it's about everything, I'm like this about everything. If I see a trade that I hate, I'm going to say I hate it. I disagree with my co-host strongly, and I think that they're saying something that's hurtful advice. I'll say it. I don't care. So like, I just want, that's authentically how I feel. I have probably been too quiet for too long. And, I just I feel free now. I feel like I can be me, at least to some degree. So I just wanted to say that. I meant to say that at the start of the show, but, it's just something that I feel like is important. And I don't really want to. We don't have to, honestly, like, I don't really want to talk about it too much anymore. We can, we'll talk about it offline between us if we need to. But outside of that, I just appreciate all the support I got on that post. I don't know if everyone's seen it. I can put a link at some point. And I just appreciate everyone sticking with me. And let's, I know it's tough to transition to that from
I get it.
That for something else. And that is obviously difficult, but that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do, because I believe that it's important that even in difficult times, we still talk about fun things like football and have fun. So let's, we're going to go back to the comments, and just thanks for letting me have a couple minutes to talk about that. Yeah, you guys and the audience. Thanks for letting me. All right. So Ooh, okay. I already like this comment from Peanut Butter Jelly Time. It's Meteor Monday this week. Oh, this is an inside joke. This is an inside joke. So it's a Patreon
inside joke. I thought there was actually a meteor shower tonight.
No. No, it's an inside joke. So if you join my Patreon, you'll get it. But for now,
on your Patreon, there is a meteor shower tonight, though.
No, it's a big lie. Ryan's spreading fake news. Dude,
I don't know.
That's funny. This whole conversation. This is another inside joke, which we'll get to. I can explain that some other time. From Jesse, looking forward to the show. Thank you, Jesse. Jesse's one of our most loyal listeners. So both to this
Absolutely.
and SDLA. So I appreciate you, Jesse. I only focused on the first part of this comment, but what about the second part? Higgins in the 203 or DJ Moore in a 23 first, 1 QB start 9? Easy, right? It's easy for me, but maybe it's not so easy.
I think I'm going to take Higgins here, actually.
Okay, so it's not easy because that's not the easy side for me.
I think it's Higgins here for me. I really don't believe enough in DJ Moore. I don't believe enough in the Panthers to get a quarterback to supply DJ Moore with great fantasy points. So I think Higgins in the 2 or 3 is enough for DJ Moore in 23 first. I don't think it's a horrible trade though. But I'm just all in on Higgins. I'm just a Higgins fanboy forever. What do you think, Tyler? You seem like you disagree.
Well, of course I disagree.
Yeah.
Of course I disagree. I said that I disagree. I disagree because I see Higgins as better than DJ Moore, but not that much better. Not that much better. What is Higgins' ceiling really? Wide receiver 8 in a season, 8, 9. What is DJ Moore's ceiling? 11, 12. How different is that? Different enough to give up a 23 first? No, I'm not going to give up a 23 first. That's so risky. That 23 first, we know how good the 23
DJ Moore hasn't finished better than 16 in PPR on a season.
Yeah. Exactly. So if I said his ceiling was 11 or 12, that's not, that seems like that's the answer then. If he's never finished better than 16, 11 or 12, he's had terrible quarterback play. If he actually I didn't say his ceiling was 5. I think there are some people who think that DJ Moore's ceiling is 5. I don't think that. But I also think that maybe I'm lower on T. Higgins' ceiling then, because I said it was 8 or 9. And for you to like this trade, you can't agree with that. You have to think that T. Higgins' ceiling is higher.
Yeah, I think T. Higgins can hit like 5 or 6 on a season.
Just don't see it. Not unless Jamar Chase gets hurt. I was
going to say the factor that plays into it for me is Jamar Chase. So it's like, obviously if he goes down, the ceiling is like one or 3 like for him, but
we can't assume an injury.
Yeah, but as long as he's there, I think I'd like to be optimistic and say he could still get to like 6, 7, 8, but like I also am high on DJ Moore, and then the 23 first I think is still the most valuable asset probably in the deal. So
I don't think so.
Nah.
Like
a 1 QB, no.
I guess. Oh yeah. It's a 1 QB, but still, that's the deciding factor versus two guys that I don't see as big of a difference between 203 this year and a 23 first. Like that difference isn't big enough.
So let me this. I think this might help you or help us see why T. Higgins' ceiling isn't that high. So let me read you a stat line. I'll read you a stat line from 2020.
Yep. Oh, no.
88 receptions for 1,400 yards on 125 targets and 7 touchdowns. And then the year after, you got 167 targets, 108 receptions, 1,616 yards, and 10 touchdowns. You know what those stat lines are?
Interestingly, no, I don't.
No, you don't. Those stat lines are Justin Jefferson rookie year to Justin Jefferson year 2. Now let's just coincidentally, let's hear Jamar Chase's rookie stat line and see if it sounds familiar.
Yeah, he's gonna get more. Yeah, I know you're
right.
wrong.
The 81 targets, 81 receptions, 128 targets. Still had 1,455 yards, but fewer targets. So, what do we think might happen from year 1 to year 2?
Jamar Chase is gonna get a lot more volume. It's definitely gonna happen. But you
but there's not infinite volume.
Yes, I know, but you also got to think about the Bengals were a below average team in pass attempts this year. Not many people see that or realize that. They were a below average team in pass attempts. They were just barely over 30 a game. And I feel like after watching Joe Burrow this past season, what he was able to do for this team, those pass attempts could reach like the top 10, top 5 in the NFL. And at that point, with CJ Uzomah gone, there's some more volume opening up. Like this offense could be just surrounded with T. Higgins, Jamar Chase getting tons and tons of volume. So I think the Bengals the pass attempts are gonna go up, and there's gonna be enough room for T. Higgins and Jamar Chase to both be top 10 wide receivers.
I mean, I hear you, but I love Joe Burrow. You think he's gonna duplicate completing 70.4% of his passes? 70.4. You think he's gonna duplicate that?
No.
Better than Patrick Mahomes has ever done, isn't it? There's no way.
I believe so.
He's not going to duplicate that. Is he going to duplicate his 6.5% touchdown rate? Maybe. That's high.
That's what I was going to say.
Is he going to duplicate 8.9 yards an attempt? That is like an otherworldly number. Very high. Is he going to be that good? I mean, I think he's great. Don't get me wrong. I think he's great. But if he duplicated those numbers, those efficiency numbers over his entire career, he would be the best passing quarterback of all time. Can he do that on more volume and consistently? I'm going to say no. And that's why I don't have Joe Burrow ranked ahead of Kyler Murray and Lamar Jackson in Dynasty, because he has to complete that efficiency and increase the volume to actually be better than them. Essentially, he has to be Justin Herbert, who actually did that. But, that's neither here nor there. But either way, that's why I am more less in on T. Higgins. But when I say less in, how less in am I? Like, what do I have T. Higgins as in Dynasty? I have him at Dynasty wide receiver 8. So it's not like I'm out. But
no,
give me the 23 first. I'm all in on 23 first. And this is the kind of deal you'd see me make. This is the kind of deal I'm making all the time to trade. I would make this deal. This is exactly the kind of deal I would seek to make if I had.
With the 23 first, it's interesting though, because because we don't know what the 23 first is and we can't really assume anything. But if you're getting this 23 first from like a rebuilding team, that makes it a lot more interesting for me, because that means a top 3 pick. And that's like,
but you never know. You never know. What if it was last year? What if it was last year and they thought, oh, I'm loaded. I have Cam Akers. I have J.K. Dobbins. I have Travis Etienne at running back. I have great running backs. And then boom, in a 2-week period, they go from a strong contender to nothing at all. And then that 23 first becomes early. What if that? I mean, that could happen at any time. There's still 2 months until the season starts. So we don't know where that 23 first is going to be. I have seen the best team, the best Dynasty team like ever, just go up and smoke. And then that doesn't even count getting unlucky. That doesn't even count during the season getting unlucky where it just doesn't go your way. Like that happens too. So I don't, this is certainly not somewhere where I'd risk giving up my 23 first. It's not worth it. But I will get off my soapbox.
It's a true soapbox though. It's true. You never know.
Yeah, no, we did that.
I
All
also
right.
think DJ Moore's undervalued. I want to add that real quick in Dynasty.
Yeah. And yes, I soapbox if I think the content is good, but whatever. I traded Montgomery for Mike Evans in Dynasty, and what I think is a win now team. Is it a good move?
Yes.
That's a great move. I like that a lot. I would much prefer Mike Evans.
Yeah. Why don't we talk about Mike Evans later? We're going to get to Mike Evans, right? Well, obviously,
We're gonna get to Mike Evans really quick.
We're going to get to Mike Evans.
I was going to say pretty quickly.
Let's table this one.
Yeah.
And talk about Evans later. JJ, yes. Justin Jefferson, you got it, Jesse. You got it. All right. Who is y'all's comeback player of the year in 2020? Oh, good question. Thanks, Josh. By the way, this is Josh. I love Josh.
Comeback player of the year.
Good question. I actually like this question a lot. I mean, given my rankings, it's Christian McCaffrey. I mean, I have Christian McCaffrey ranked at 2. So
Yeah,
It feels like a cop-out answer, though.
It's a cop-out
honestly.
answer, but that's my answer, right? I mean, given my rankings,
that's a great answer. I want to throw. Oh man.
I mean,
I want
that
to
is the answer. But
I don't know how much faith I have in this player, but I do want to throw a dart at Saquon Barkley as well. I think he could absolutely have a bounce back season.
I think he's gonna have a bounce back to
Does he
failure.
qualify?
Failure.
Yeah, I don't.
Failure bounce back.
I said I don't have much faith. I really
faith.
don't have
I
much
don't-
faith at all.
I'm looking at the Vegas odds right now, and I don't see Saquon's name listed, so I don't think he qualifies. Because I see Gus Edwards down here, and I assume Saquon would have higher odds.
Wow. Savage.
So I don't think he qualifies, but
Interesting.
Derrick Henry qualifies, so I have to throw that name into the mix.
I like that. I like that.
Obviously.
yeah, that's a great.
like
it.
Because he was injured.
that's a great name.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
Christian
that's
McCaffrey among
Yeah.
fantasy relevant players is the chalk name.
Yeah, he is definitely the chalk name to throw in that conversation. Could you throw Lamar Jackson in there?
No, he wasn't that
He had a
bad.
lot of injuries
Like, it
last
wasn't
year.
that bad. He was
He
just
wasn't
injured.
that bad. He was just
He was
injured
actually
last
fine.
year. Yeah.
I mean, they were winning games when he was on the field.
Maybe Ryan Tannehill because he was pretty frustrating.
He was
to watch
so
last
bad that he led the Titans to a number 1 seed. He was bad for us,
did.
but that's not what they're giving the award for. He
year.
was bad for us,
Yeah.
but he led the Titans to the number 1 seed at first round bye. So I don't think that he counts. Trevor
Yeah.
Lawrence would be a reasonable name for comeback player of the year.
Trevor
He
Lawrence
was
or
horrible as a
rookies.
rookie.
Any of the rookies, honestly. Besides,
I would say, yeah, any of them really.
yeah, Zach
Trey Lance
Wilson,
doesn't
Justin
count,
Fields,
but-
Trevor Lawrence. Trey Lance didn't really play, but Zach
He didn't
Wilson,
play.
Justin
Zach
Fields,
Wilson
or Trevor
would be-
Lawrence.
Yes.
Any of those three could easily, definitely win.
Absolutely, any of them.
Yeah.
I would say Zach Wilson was so bad that he would have a good case if he was
What
happy.
about James
Because-
Winston? What if he leads the Saints to
Yeah.
the playoffs after an ACL?
Yeah,
tear?
but the thing is, Jameis Winston had a winning record when he was on it. Like, I don't think people remember him as being bad. He just got hurt, which I guess
he
could
just
help
got
him
hurt.
qualify for the award. But
That
I
qualifies.
also just don't think he's
I
going to.
mean, I just
good.
remember
would,
30
yeah.
and 30.
Yeah, I just don't think
I'll
he's going
always
to be good
remember.
enough
Yeah,
to qualify.
yeah, I remember.
Whereas I think
that,
Trevor Lawrence really could be. He would be
Yeah.
my quarterback if I had to pick one for comeback player of the year.
Mhm.
But just given the names, the only fantasy relevant player I think has a real shot at being comeback player of the year is Christian McCaffrey.
It's Christian.
I think otherwise it will not be a fantasy relevant position.
or Derrick Henry. I think CMC or Derrick Henry are.
Yeah,
those
the
two.
problem is Derrick Henry actually put up 8 good games last year, whereas Christian McCaffrey, it's been 2 years, a 2-year comeback. So
Yeah, it's been
that
a
I
2-year
think
comeback.
people will reward that.
Yeah.
But I actually really liked that question. That was good, even when it was
Yeah.
fantasy related.
Yeah, that's a fun question. Yeah.
It's a fun question. You know, this show is about fun. It's in June. Nobody's really drafting anything yet. So I'll take some extra time for some fun questions right now. Oh, Darren. Oh, welcome, Darren. Darren and I did a Patreon show a while back, going through one of his teams. So one of my most loyal supporters. Do you think about changing your strategy in a Dynasty Empire League that resets if someone wins the league 2 years in a row or any 3 years? Not sure I've heard of such a thing. I've heard of the first part, but I'm not sure if I've heard the second part, where if someone
I
wins,
barely ever. I don't know if how good I can answer this question because I've barely heard of like any like that.
My
I mean,
initial thought would be unless you're trading, unless there's someone that it's 2 years. Wait, or any 3 years. Oh,
Or
I've
any
seen.
3.
Okay,
I've
I've
seen the
seen
first
if
part,
they
yeah.
win 3 years in a row, then you draft, and it's like if someone has won 2 years in a row, at that point you got to maybe bring that into play. But
Yeah.
I don't. I feel like it's pretty. I don't think it would change my strategy all too much.
It's tough because I feel like now with this new format, maybe like a long-term rebuild might be a bad idea because if you try to do a long-term rebuild and someone wins like 3 championships in the next 5 years, you might be done for right as you're starting to get ready to win. So maybe like those deep long-term rebuilds are just not a great idea because you might end up just being reset right after you start doing it.
I'm more likely to just draft good players. Yeah, I'm less likely to trade away for future picks. Than I would be otherwise. But yeah, I still won't. I still won't put on a bunch of old players or anything. But yeah, definitely less trading for future picks than I would otherwise.
Because think about it, every year could be the year where your league now resets. I know. Because if someone wins 2 years in a row, it's over. And
that's another thing. Another thing is that this league is not going to last forever. This league is going to end. So since we know it's going to end, then forever rebuild is not as good of a strategy. So I'm with you on that. Dak ? For comeback play. What is he coming back from? Dak last year was a good candidate for comeback player of the year, but this year,
Dak last year, this year, no.
What is he coming back from? You got to remember that just because he wasn't, this is Ryan Tannehill all over again. Just because he wasn't good for our fantasy teams or wasn't as good as we wanted for our fantasy teams does not mean that he's the comeback player of the year. If we're talking about the fantasy comeback player of the year, it's even more Christian McCaffrey. But okay, Barkley will be great this year. He's just here, take that leap of faith, guaranteed. I think he'll be great. Getting injured again. That will be very good, and there will be big failure because he looked so bad last year, so bad. What was the excuse? He had plenty of time. There was plenty of time for him to be healthy. It took too long to recover from the ACL tear, and then, of course, because he wasn't ready, then he got hurt again. I mean, you could say, oh, it was a coincidence. So someone stepped on his foot. Well, why is he getting hurt again? It was every year. In 2019, there was an injury, and then it took a long time, and then he come back, wasn't good. Then 2020 didn't look good in the 2 games he played, by the way. People don't want to talk about that. They don't want to remember that. But he didn't look good in the 2 games he played, and then an ACL tear. Then in 2021, he comes out bad again. He looks terrible. And then we have what? Oh, I see one good game. There was one good game. Anyone can have one good game. And then people are saying, oh, he was back. There was going to be 10 more good games. You don't know that. How do you know that there was going to be 10 more good games? It didn't happen. So because it didn't happen, that can't be a guarantee. So no, it's not. There's no guarantee. I think it's more likely that he's RB 25 than RB 5. So no, I'm not interested in Saquon Barkley at all. I don't get it.
Yeah, he is interesting because his price could go lower, but when I'm in a draft, I can't click the It's so hard to click.
It's so hard to do it.
Can't do it. Like it's just so hard to do it because you know the amount. Because like if he ends up failing like he did last year, because even when he was on the field last year, his backups were outplaying him. He sucked.
I know, Devontae.
It wasn't like an ACL tear. Oh, you just drop him and it's done. You started him.
I know you started him all those weeks, and he lit you up.
He sucked, and he let you down. If you're in that roller coaster again,
I beg them, please. I beg them, please don't. Stop. Please don't do it. Don't do it.
Starting roster. Yeah, if you go through that roller coaster again, because that ruins your team. Like your team is done for if that happens to you again. Like you just can't win with him in your lineup like that. It's
also, just I'm going to take us into the wide receivers very soon. I promise. Yeah. All right. I will take this one, and then I'll take us into wide receivers. Do you guys feel like it will be a 50-50 timeshare in Green Bay with Jones and Dillon, or more usage for Jones with him possibly moving on after the season, getting all they can from him? Yes, I'm taking this one because I think nobody agrees with my opinion, so we're only going to hear yes, I think it's going to be a 50-50 timeshare. I think Dillon's going to get more work. Oh, you agree. Okay.
I agree.
I know Conan doesn't agree. Ryan also somewhat doesn't agree.
I don't know about 50-50, but
I think it'll actually be 60-40 in favor of Dillon. But these are minor details.
Okay.
Jones I only have higher because it's a PPR game. If we were playing, who gets more touches, I would bet on Dillon. But in fantasy, I think Jones will be worth more because of the way we score. But I think for the Packers,
they were in like 5 touches of each other last year. Like
Dillon had more carries.
They each had 220 something touches last year.
Jones had a few more receptions. It was close. And Jones also, I believe, played 1 or 2 less games. But
Jones did in a couple of games. Yeah.
I always say, I said it once, I said it on the running back show. I'll say it again here. Jones is the only running back who's being taken in the top 15 who has a healthy outcome of RB30. There's no one else, not even Saquon Barkley. Not even Saquon Barkley has a healthy outcome of RB30. Where that player remains healthy and they finish at RB30. No one else, only Aaron Jones. No one else. So just know what you're buying. Know what you're buying. That's what you're buying. So just be aware of that.
So
That's
last year, Aaron Jones averaged 14.9 total touches a game, while Dylan averaged 13 even.
Okay, so
that was the average. So about 2
then
more
I would-
touches a game for Jones. So yeah, I think a 50-50 split is totally fair to expect.
yeah.
this year.
No, a lot of it is that I have them both lower. Like I've seen people who are in on Green Bay. I have Jones at 16 and Dylan at 25. I've seen people have them just move them up 5 each and have Jones at 11 and Dylan at 20. And so a lot
I
of
have Dylan at 22, and then I have Jones at 16.
Oh, so you have Jones in the same place I do and Dylan higher. So
Yes. Yeah,
we agree on Jones.
I believe in this backfield.
Yeah, I believe in the Packers. I think the least of the four of us. All right, so let's get to the two news pieces I had on the sheet because I had videos on the channel about those. So there were two videos. I recorded 2 short videos this week, and I think that those are really important. And that's why people should subscribe, like the videos, comment, hit the bell so you're notified, especially about those, because I don't promote those. Those just come up. Maybe the first of the news came up, and then the short video was recorded. There was I don't know when the news is going to come, so I don't know when the video is going to happen. So if you hit the bell, you'll know when the video comes. And they're less than 60 seconds or less. So, it only takes a minute to watch them. So I've really tried to provide extra content for the people because I know the people want extra content. So it's been like a good flexible way for me to do it. I can do it from my phone, wherever I am, still record it. So I've been doing those. Those have been great. So I had 2 this week. One on Rob Gronkowski's retirement, which, happened. So just quickly, yes or no, does Rob Gronkowski play in the NFL again?
Yes, I think he does. I don't believe him.
You don't believe him?
Again.
Conan?
He'll play NFL football again.
If I had to pick one, probably going yes. Just based on what his agent said too. It's just like that he retired and then he's like, yeah, if Tom called him, it's like, yeah, like who retires like that? It's like, if his buddy calls again, it's like his buddy's gonna call and
I'll retire like that. I'll be like, I'm done. But if someone I like, if you call me, I'm still me. Call me. I can still do it.
And that's what I'm saying. And it's just like, you don't think let's not even beginning of the season, before the season, you don't think if in like week 6 or something, Brady's like, hey, like, you want to come back? He's going to say,
I get it. I get it. If I walked away, look, I'm going to walk away from doing fantasy football content when I do. I'm going to walk away when I still have it, not when I'm washed up. So like, and I could definitely see it where if in like 5 years I walk away from doing this and it's week 6 and I'm like, but I really want to do a show. I miss this. Like I'm getting the itch. Like, it's like there'll still definitely be people who want me. Like they call me like, all right, fine. I'll do it. I could definitely see it. So I get how he's feeling, but I am going to say no. I think he's done. I think that's it.
Oh, he's not done. I just drafted him on a best ball team last night, so I have to say yes. By default.
Wow.
Wait.
Yes, I'm bad at moving on. I know.
I'm DMing you in the chat right now.
I'm aware of that. I will say,
people are waiting.
When I feel like it's good, I keep going. When I feel like it's a mess, I usually try to move on. But I feel like this is we'll talk.
Ooh.
I'll say I don't have him ranked as an RB1, but go back to the.
I don't have him right now. But if he's fully healthy when he comes to the season, yes, he will be an RB1.
We talked about this on the running back show, and I wish we had good timestamps, but we don't. Sorry.
It's probably near the end of the first RB episode.
That was me trying to tell someone to do that. Oh, did I say that out loud? Oh, sorry. That was supposed to stay in my brain, but it slipped out. Oh well. All right. So I had the video on Rob Gronkowski. We talked about that, and then I had the Kamara video, the one about his suspension. I will just say that that suspension could be coming down at any time. I do think I hope we'll know. I hope this is not an Ezekiel Elliott from 2017 situation all over again, because if you remember, the way that worked is there was a 6-game suspension, and then there wasn't a suspension, and there was a suspension, and there wasn't going to be, and then it was going to be at a certain time, and then it was not at that time, and then it moved on, and then it came down right at the end of the season, all the way through the fantasy playoffs. And I hope we don't have to deal with that,
Yeah, that would be
I think that is what we're gonna have to do.
Yeah, that might.
So,
that would be very
I
frustrating.
am fading Alvin Kamara in redraft. I'm just not drafting him. I'm expecting that 6-game suspension is going to be imposed at some point this year. So just be aware of that. I talked about it in the video. And Abram Smith, if Abram Smith is on your dynasty waiver wire, I would pick him up. Mark Ingram, obviously, but I don't think Mark Ingram is on most waiver wires. I don't.
No,
I don't think he's out there.
No.
He's rostered.
But if he is, I would pick him up. But
Yeah.
Abram Smith, I feel like, is the pickup that actually might be out there. The undrafted free agent this year. We know Tony Jones is bad. We know he sucks. We saw him suck. I don't need to see more.
Yeah,
I've seen enough of failure Jones who can't do anything. But Abram Smith is much better. Maybe. It could be. Anyway, enough of that. Let's move on. So, Hutch, you're here now. So we talked about the top 5 last week.
Okay.
Our top 5, we all had the same top 5, not in the same order, but we all had some combination of Cooper Kupp, Jamar Chase, and Justin Jefferson as the top 3.
Okay, that's me too. Because I've got my redraft rankings pulled up right now. I have Cooper Kupp at 1, Jefferson at 2, and Chase at 3.
Okay, so you have I have Kupp 1, Chase 2, Jefferson 3.
Yeah,
then,
I had that way, but then I flipped it a while ago. But yeah,
and then
all 3 of those are very switchable for me. All 3 can be number 1.
That's kind of how I feel.
Yeah. And then 4 or 5, I have Stephon Diggs at 4, and then Devontae Adams at 5.
Okay, so we all 3 of us had exactly Stephon Diggs at 4
wide receivers,
and this exact same 5, and exactly Stephon Diggs at 4, and Devontae Adams at 5 with those first 3.
Interesting.
So you're in line with the rest of us.
All right.
Which is not a surprise, and that's why
it's not very surprising at all.
No, I do think that's very chalky. I've seen very few, just because everyone after those 5
I think
has
Debo
serious
could be in the
concern.
top 5. I think
Debo?
I've seen Debo. I've seen CeeDee Lamb in some top 5s, but
I really haven't.
Other than that, I don't see many other players in the top 5. I think
I
those are
haven't
kind of
seen
consensus 5.
any analyst really put anyone other than those 5. It's been those 5 for almost everyone that I've seen. And typically it's exactly Kupp, Chase, and Jefferson as the top 3 in some order.
Yeah.
Kupp is first the
And
most.
Diggs and Adams outside.
And then, Diggs and Adams at 4 and 5. I've seen Diggs at 4 more, but I've seen it flipped as well. So, but those top 5 are very consensus that I've seen.
Yeah, now this is where things are going to start to
and that's where we're going to pick up today.
Yeah.
So we started to get into this a little bit last week. And last week, if it was not obvious, I was really, really unhappy. Not about fantasy football, but just about my life. I'm feeling a lot better now. This is probably the most energy you guys have seen me have in a long time. But more of the show dominating Tyler than the quiet Tyler. But before we cut last week's show loose, I think we talked about a little bit about this, but so we have starting at 6, and then my tier goes all the way from 6 to 14. So kind of a big tier.
Yeah, I have. So here's the thing: I've got Stephon Diggs, Devontae Adams, and then Deebo Samuel at 6 in tier 2.
Okay, you have Deebo in tier 2.
I have
I have Diggs and Adams in their own tier, and then 6 starts a new tier.
Okay, yeah, 7 starts the new tier for me.
So Deebo. So we can just start with talking about Deebo.
Yeah,
because I have Deebo at.
You all have him at 6 or no?
No, I have Lamb at 6. I have Deebo at 8.
7.
So I'm the highest on Deebo here. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, I don't like. I think if I knew that Deebo had a contract extension and was going to be as featured in the 49ers offense as he was last year, then I would have him at 6. But I don't know any of that. So since I don't know that, then I don't have him at 6.
Yeah, I'm assuming here that he got. I have full faith that the 49ers are going to give him a contract, and that he's going to be used in the offense in a primary role. Maybe not as much in the running game, but whatever is not in the running game, he's going to be used a lot more in the passing game. Because down the stretch, where you look at his passing numbers, like his actual receptions, they were pretty low. I know. All runner. He was an all running back. He was a full-time running back basically for the 49ers. So, but I think they drafted why can't I remember his name? Third round rookie running back that they just drafted.
Tyrion
Like,
Davis Price.
Tyrion Davis Price.
Davis Price, right? I think they
Yeah.
drafted him to take Debo's rush attempts, use him as a running back, and get Debo more at wide receiver, so Debo's not upset with his usage. So I think we see more first half Debo with some rush attempts as well, and I think that's going to get him to wide receiver 6. I mean, he finished top 3 last year. Like, I'm only moving him down a few spots.
Yeah, I mean, as a fantasy manager for Debo, you actually don't want the rushing workload or
people
work
think
at
you do,
all.
but you don't.
So
Receptions are more valuable,
looking at it last year, first half of the season when he wasn't a rusher, he was averaging 17.1 expected fantasy points per game. The rest of the season when he was utilized, as a rusher, barely that much in the passing game, he was expected for 12.7. And the PPR, I mean the PPR, the points per game didn't really drop that much, but you could see how exactly, like you said, the touchdowns definitely factored into that a lot, keeping him afloat. But I mean, we'll see how it goes. I like I said, we want passing, we want the pass catcher Debo. We don't really want the hybrid wide back Debo in fantasy at least. But we'll see if, the team and him see that the same, because obviously they felt like it was working for them and they did it for second half of the season. I forget what their record was second half of the season, but I mean,
it was pretty good.
Yeah. Right.
It was 7-2, 7-2 in the
exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the thing is if they are going to pay him, they might be expecting that, which is understandable because it worked for them. But it all kind of hinges on if he gets that big bag and how the team kind of views his usage. Is he that pass catcher, or is he that hybrid, do everything kind of guy? But
either way, whichever way we use him, he was great for fantasy in both directions. My argument was just that he was averaging 20 points per game in the second half of the season, but he was only expected for 12.7. Yeah, touchdowns. And it's production. Yeah. So and it's first half of the season, he was expected 17, he was getting 21. So that seems a lot more, doable.
Yeah. You don't want someone that's first in fantasy points per route run and target at running back. So
yeah.
That'll do it.
So over the first 8 games where he had 6 total carries, 6 carries. So not using a running back at all, really.
No, not really.
If you extrapolate his pace from those games, he would have projected over a full season for 104 receptions, 1,874 yards, and 8 touchdowns receiving.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good, right?
The
only reason that I'm not so in on him is because I just feel like that season feels like an outlier. I don't feel like any part of 2021 is real. I really don't. It's not like Cooper Kupp, where I actually feel like Cooper Kupp, you saw it throughout his career being really good, and then you get the quarterback, and then he's special. Whereas to me, with Deebo Samuel, 2021 just feels more like an outlier. That doesn't feel real. I feel like
the year before, though, he was even his rookie year down the stretch, he was on pace for over 1,000 yards, in the second half of the season. And then in his second season, he also showed that when he was on the field healthy, that he was a great piece of this team. It's just that he put his body on the line way too much in his second season and got him in trouble with injuries, and he missed a lot of time. But he was on the field, he was awesome for fantasy, and then this year he just stayed healthy and put it together.
Yeah, that's why I have him at 8. If I really didn't believe in him, I have him way lower, but I don't.
Yeah, I've got him at 6. I just believe that the 49ers are going to find a way to use him and just make him the front piece of this offense, because that's what they need from him. They need him to be the leader of this offense, especially with the quarterback controversy right now they have with Trey Lance and Jimmy G right now. We don't know who the starter is going to be right now. I'm assuming it's Trey Lance, but we really don't know.
It's Trey Lance.
So,
it's Trey Lance.
It's Trey Lance.
Yeah.
But
even if it's
shocked.
Yeah, even if
spent 3 first and didn't start.
Wouldn't you want a young rookie quarterback to be able to lean on an option like Deebo Samuel, a guy who can get tons of yards after catch, a guy who can break tons of tackles? Deebo is going to be the front of this offense no matter what, and he's going to get a ton of volume, which is why he should be a locked-in top 8 wide receiver for fantasy.
I do have to mention his 2 weeks that Trey Lance did start. He was 17th and 21st in fantasy point finishes. So it was all right, but wasn't the Debo we were used to seeing.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, and it's also like the team has George Kittle. You know, the team supposedly likes Brandon Ayuk. You know, like so. You know, we never know. That's
allegedly.
Like, you know, that could change any given moment. But obviously Kittle is there. Ayuk could factor in, but I mean, we'll see. I don't have him that much lower either. I have him at 9.
Yeah,
but
so what, we have him 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yep.
Yeah, you're the lowest. Yeah, that's
not too much disagreement.
Exactly. It's still
with Debo, like
mid
we're
wide
all
receiver 1 range.
So okay, so yes, it's right. I forgot to mention this because I was busy about other things, but yes, I have to actually organize that. I have to go back to the other video and pull up the comments, but I will, and then find a way to randomize it, but I will do that. All right.
You want to move on to number 7 or the next player?
We can move on to this. Yeah. We'll yes, I'll talk about why in a second. All right. So I have CeeDee Lamb at 6, who we talked about a little bit last time. Conan, you put him in the tier with the other Devontae Adams and Stephon Diggs. I definitely don't feel that way.
I don't have him in that. I have him in the next tier. I've got him at 10 right now.
I've been at
10.
Right,
I've got him at 10. So I think I might be the lowest on
yeah. I mean, I'm just I'm the high man on Lamb, I guess, but you know, he had 32% of routes in the slot last year, and that's just going to go up. And I think that's where he, you know, is truly the best. We see him, you know, once he gets the ball, get past some of these guys. He was number 4, and I think evaded tackles per reception too. It's like, I think he's going to get the volume finally this year. You know, hey, someone was saying Dak is a comeback, right? Where's all that going to go? Can't all go to Dr. Schultz.
Yeah, it is interesting. CeeDee Lamb, I definitely do believe that he can break out, and there's definitely potential there. It's just so tough for me to put him in like the top 6 or 7 where we haven't seen it. If we haven't seen it yet, like at all, it's really, really tough. And the Cowboys, they were really successful as a team last year. Like they were overall a pretty successful team. And what were they doing? They were running the ball, spreading the ball around to different options in their offense. Because I feel like if the Cowboys really wanted CD to be that guy, like they wanted CD to be that guy in his second season, I feel like they would have given him more than like 7 targets a game. I feel like he would have eaten up some of Dalton Schultz targets. I mean, when Michael Gallup was on the field, he was averaging like 6 targets a game. Like Michael Gallup was a very relevant piece of this offense when he was on the field healthy. I feel like CeeDee Lamb should have been able to step up and see more targets with the competition around him. But the Cowboys, I feel like they want to spread the ball, run heavy. Their offensive line's still great. Like, I just don't see CeeDee Lamb. I just have a little more concerns with CeeDee Lamb than the rest of the community, which is why I have him lower. But the potential's still there, and I'll definitely look for him in a couple of drafts for his upside.
Also, if you still want to join the Patreon contest, video, leave a comment saying you're entering the Patreon contest, and I will, if you get it in before I actually pick, I'll allow it.
Go do that.
Absolutely. It's free things. But yeah, I like CeeDee Lamb. I like CeeDee Lamb. So.
Yeah, so hold on. I'm the lowest, right? Where do you guys all have him?
6.
9.
6. Ryan's got him at 9. Okay. Yeah.
All right. Well, we can talk about AJ Brown next, because I think this is going to be controversial. Because I have AJ Brown at 7. So
I thought
I expect that that's the highest.
Yeah, I've got him at 12.
12. Right now.
I've got him at 12. So still wide receiver 1, but barely. He's in tier 3.
I got him at 10. 9. No, 10. Yeah, sorry.
I'm the lowest. I'm the Eagles fan, and I'm the lowest in AJ Brown. That's
wow.
Multiple Eagles fans.
Interesting.
That's interesting. Yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah, well,
I think it's the same reason as me for putting him that high, Tyler.
Why? What's the same reason?
I think they want to be more pass happy. I think that's what they want.
I do, yeah. I believe that the Eagles will be more pass happy, and I believe that Jalen Hurts takes a step forward. I've got him at quarterback 3 for fantasy this year. I just see Devontae Smith being way more involved than people are seeing him. I know, Tyler, you heavily.
Where do you have Devonta Smith? We're not going to get to him today, by the way.
We're not going to. I
Yeah.
don't think
Oh
so.
no,
No. Based on
not,
how
if
well,
not if we're
I don't
deciding
think-
who we're talking about by my rankings. We're not.
Oh yeah, if we're I've
do you
got
have him?
I've got him
Number?
at 20. I've got him at 22.
I have him at 37.
I've moved him.
So-
I've moved him up lately.
No
I've moved him up
interest.
lately.
I'm at 34 with him.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I'm
Yeah,
even lower than
I'm
you, but
very high on Devonta Smith.
I
I
have him at-
I believe in the talent of Devonta Smith. I think he's gonna get a lot of targets. I feel like people are throwing away Dallas Goedert as well. I feel like people are just thinking that Jalen Hurts is gonna stick to AJ Brown like glue, and there's no other weapons here.
and where do you have
and-
Dallas Goedert?
Dallas Goedert, I've got him as a lower
Tight
end
end.
10. So not
So
he's
I
not
actually
going to be amazing, but I've got.
I have
10.
Goddard at 8. So it's just that I despise Devonta Smith compared to AJ Brown.
Yeah, I
That's the
don't.
only
I
difference. 'Cause
yeah,
I don't have
think-
Jalen Hurts that high. I only have Jalen Hurts at 7. I just have it that AJ Brown is everything and Devonta Smith
Yeah,
is
no,
nothing.
I see it more as a 1A, 1B type of situation with.
I mean,
AJ Brown and Devonta
One
Smith.
of those two players is elite and the other is just okay. Like that's Devonta Smith is nothing special. Nothing. He showed nothing as a rookie that was special to me. He was just okay. And you know why they traded for
I
AJ Brown?
very much disagree with
Well,
you.
no, not to me, because someone like Devonta Smith, if Devonta Smith is your 1, your offense is a failure. Your offense is a failure. If he's a 1, he can't be a 1. He didn't look like he could be a 1. I don't want that as my number 1. AJ Brown, now that's elite. Is someone who's elite, someone who can command the number 1 role. Devonta Smith is the 1. You can't pass the ball with him as a number 1. It didn't work. It didn't work last year. They were not able to pass the ball. Why? Because they had no number 1 option. They had a number 2 wide receiver and a tight end who is good. I like Dallas Goedert, but again, you need a 1. You need an alpha. You need that player, and that's what AJ Brown is. He is an alpha. He is, the kind of
yeah, but now
not
you're
Calvin
seeing-
Johnson.
Yeah, but now
But,
you're
like-
seeing. I mean, Devontae Smith finished higher than your ranking last year. He finishes like just inside. the top
I'm
31
aware of
from
that.
from
I'm
that.
aware of that, and
And-
that's going to change.
And now he's going to go against number 2 cornerbacks, and
He's going to get less
If
targets.
you watched him, I feel like Devontae Smith last year actually showed a lot. I think he's already a top 10 route runner in the NFL. I thought he was. He
Just don't say it.
he gets wide open on his routes.
He
He's
does.
So-
absolutely
There's
nasty.
a couple times.
Here's-
I've learned this
Unbelievable
lesson.
techniques.
I've learned this lesson from Jerry Jeudy. I learned because I think they're not that different. I learned this lesson the hard way the first time. I agreed with you. If we take away, if I go back 2 years, I probably agree with you. But I learned this lesson. You can kind of look at a player and be like, yeah, no, they're a good route runner, but there's something missing with Devonta Smith for me. The same thing that's missing with Jerry Jeudy. They're missing. It's what Deontay Johnson has that they don't have. It's whatever that is. Whatever Deontay Johnson has that I have not seen from. Yes, good route runner. But there's something Deontay Johnson has that they don't. I don't know what it is because it's not size, but there's an X factor. Whatever it is that allows Deontay Johnson to actually produce that Jerry Jeudy and Devonta Smith could not do. That X factor is what Deontay Johnson has that these two players do not have. And what I'm learning is that you have to actually have the targets. You have to actually see them get the targets. And it's hard to quantify because the efficiency stats don't say it's true. But that's why we always say targets are what matters. Targets are earned. And that's the X factor. It's hard to quantify why the targets are being earned, only that they were. And that's why he didn't get the targets last year. And now a alpha nuclear bomb has been dropped on him. So I'm just out. I learned this. I'm not going to make the same mistake twice.
I mean, I think it's like how Hurts is as a passer. He was number 5 in danger plays and interceptable passes. It's like, who do you think would help with that? A lot. A big
AJ Brown.
It's AJ Brown, and it's like
The difference between
Hurts has-
AJ. Oh, go ahead.
I was only going to say like, and Hurts has shown the willingness to throw it deep. He was 3rd in air yards per attempt, and it's like, I just think he's a great match. And if he's going to throw like that, like the team showed, like if he's going to be a thrower, like that's how he kind of is. And you bring someone like that who can, just be an absolute beast in that offense. he's shown the ability to be the number one in a low pass volume offense as well. And it's like maybe they brought him over so that they could let him go. So I mean, I could see like a Diggs type explosion coming. New team, new scenery, just alpha receiver coming in. Like I could see him being top 3. So
AJ Brown.
Yeah, I mean, I have him at 10. Like I said, that's probably going to move into the low 7, 8, 9 by the time the season comes, as I keep just hyping myself up about him and watching highlights. But
in all seriousness, like if you look at the first 3 years of Julio Jones's career, look at those first 3 years. He didn't really break out, but you knew that was, he didn't have the big year. He didn't have the 1,500-yard season because there were injuries, there were some other issues, there was some inefficiency, but you knew that this was an alpha wide receiver. This was a top 5 talent. You knew that. And then in year 4, you get the 104 receptions, 1,593 yards. You get that. That season came. And like, if AJ Brown can stay healthy for the whole year, and it's not like AJ Brown misses lots of games. I mean, AJ Brown has played 43 of a possible, what is that? Like 49 games. That for an NFL player, missing 6 games in 3 seasons is not a lot of games missed. People think he's always injured, but 6 games out of 49 missed is, I would say, about average, if not better than average for an NFL player. No serious injury in that time, nothing. And every time he came back,
through a lot of injuries though.
And every time he came back, he was still elite. Every time he came back, he was elite. So
I feel like he does get an unfair, like always injured label.
Well, that's why
I have an unfair always injured label.
And that's why I brought the stats to the people to show them to tell them that's not the case. It's unfair because it's not true. So, I really do see a lot of parallels between the start of AJ Brown's career and Julio Jones. I really do. And if that were the rest of AJ Brown's career, I would not be surprised in the least. I really wouldn't, because I think he has that kind of talent.
AJ Brown is like his like, when you talk about DK Metcalf and his freak athlete ability, I think AJ Brown's actually a very similar athlete. Like, he is just so big and powerful, but he's also so fast and elusive, and he can just make people miss. Like, he's just so unbelievably athletic, and he's just an absolute beast. And I mean, I agree. Like, I have AJ Brown as a top 12 wide receiver, and that could definitely move up by the time season starts. I can get him into the top 10, but I still believe that Devonta Smith will still be a very involved piece of this offense, because he showed a lot to the Eagles last year, and he's going to be going up against number 2 DBs. He's going to be open. And the ball is going to be thrown his way.
Just won't be enough targets. That's all that matters. The targets won't come. They just won't. That's
he's wide open. It doesn't matter. If he's wide open, he's going to get targets.
I hear you, but I just don't. It doesn't matter. Jalen Hurts. The problem with Jalen Hurts is if you throw to Devonta Smith and you miss by a foot, that's it. That pass wasn't completed. That pass wasn't good. If you throw to AJ Brown and you miss by a foot, he still might catch it. He's got the size. He's got the wingspan. If it's not perfect,
unbelievable catches last year.
That's true, but it's not AJ Brown. He doesn't have the size. You can't miss. I'm not
saying Devonta Smith is AJ Brown. Like, Devonta Smith is not as talented as AJ Brown, but I think he's talented enough to the point where he can actually compete. Like, I mean, we were just talking about T. Higgins, Jamar Chase earlier. T. Higgins was set up to be the number 1 receiver, and then the Bengals dropped that bomb on T. Higgins with the number 5 overall pick.
They have Joe Burrow,
but they have Joe Burrow. That's definitely the same. But
you know who Devonta Smith reminds me of, really? A little? Hollywood Brown. So, not that they're the same player, but Hollywood Brown was good. When no one else was there, he produced even in the Ravens offense, even in the Ravens' bad situation. He produced anyway. And now that he's on a new team, his talent, I think, is going to make him in a different offense a great player. But when there were other healthy players, when Lamar was not throwing well, it didn't come together for Hollywood Brown always. That's what Devonta Smith is. And that's why I'm not totally out on Devonta Smith in Dynasty. In Redraft, I'm out. But in Dynasty, I'm still in, because I think that he is a talented player. He is good, and if you put him in a different offense, I think he could succeed. And I'm not just going to dump a talented wide receiver in Dynasty just because their current situation isn't good. So that's why I'm not completely out on Devonta Smith. It's just that in Redraft, he does remind me of Hollywood Brown in terms of what I think his career path could be, because AJ Brown is stuck on this big contract. If Jalen Hurts is their guy, there's a good chance he will be. I think Devonta Smith is going to be out the door at the earliest possible opportunity.
All right.
So
All right.
But yes, we have to move on from this.
I gotta head out, unfortunately, due to work. I will be back for the full show, next week. Obviously, a little different day.
Next week's show is gonna be on Tuesday. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Monday's July 4th.
Exactly.
I'll remind people of that at the end of the show.
Exactly. Hey, thanks for obviously being here. If you're here, thank you all for talking football, doing what we love to do, and continue telling the people what they would need for these championship teams. Keep helping them out, and I'll catch you guys later.
All right.
Have a good one.
So yeah, I realize that we have been very much sidetracked, and honestly, like, if it were during the season, I would keep us on track. But it's June. Like, this is what we're talking about. Like, I feel like the conversation is good. Like, why not continue to discuss? And we're talking about fantasy, so it's a good conversation. But I think we can move on from the AJ Brown.
We can definitely move on from AJ Brown, Devonta.
Yeah. So, but all of us have CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown, and Deebo Samuel in our top 12. So those are the three players we talked about.
We do.
Also, my idea that we were going to get to 25 players is not going to happen.
Yeah,
I can realize that right now.
What do you want to talk? Which player do you want? I mean, we talked about T. Higgins, Jamar Chase a little bit. We did say we wanted to talk about Mike Evans, right?
I don't know who this is.
Question about him.
Who is this? I don't know who this is. Do we know anything about who these players? I don't know who they are. So I'm going to say no.
Sorry, I do not. Yeah, I do not know.
I'm going to say no since I've never heard of them.
I don't.
Yeah.
So we wanted to talk about Mike Evans, right?
Well, let's just go down. We can just go down my rankings. So I have Keenan Allen at 9.
Okay, I've got him at 8.
8. Okay.
So I'm right with you, Ryan.
I'm all right with you. I have him at 15.
15.
All the way down there.
15.
So I feel like we don't really need to talk about my 9 versus Hutch's 8. I think and let's look at
No, we don't. We don't need to do that.
Yeah, we don't talk about that. But wait. I want to get consensus in on this. I want to get consensus in to see.
Yeah, where's
consensus? Yeah, let's look at Fantasy Pros. I want to get them in on this. So 9 with me. So 9 with me, and 8 is very similar. But Ryan, you have him at 15. That seems very unreasonable. So let's hear about that.
It seems very low. I think it's because I have Mike Williams higher than consensus.
Where do you have him?
I have him at 20.
Oh.
That's not higher than
high. No, that's not super high.
Then maybe I just like a couple wide receivers more than Keenan Allen that you guys probably have.
Hutch, where do you have Mike Williams?
I have Mike Williams down at 26. So I'm not 24. Too far off from Ryan.
Yeah, I have him at 24.
I think there's a couple guys that I like more.
Interesting. Yeah, because I can't see Justin Herbert not. I can't see Justin Herbert not deliver. One of these guys, I think, is going to be top 12. I'd bet on Keenan Allen all day long. Yeah, but in a Justin Herbert-led offense, you can't have a guy that's not a receiver that's not going to be top 12 here. Like
Keenan Allen,
it's going to be
Keenan Allen is still good. Yeah,
Keenan Allen's still great. He's never showed signs of going down, and he's not like a freak athlete that relies because when wide receivers, when you look at their career, usually speed is the first thing to leave. And a wide receiver, Keenan Allen does not depend on crazy speed. He's a guy that depends on his routes to get open. He's not a guy that stretches the field a ton. So he's going to be able to play a little bit into his 30s. So we don't have to worry about Keenan Allen falling off. So yeah, Keenan Allen, wide receiver, he should be a locked in top 12 guy for next season.
I don't think it's that I'm lower on Keenan Allen. Like I said, I think it's higher. I'm higher on the other guys.
Yeah, but wide receiver competition
so low.
No,
15 is so low. It's really low.
I only have 14. This tier only goes up to 14 to me. So it's hard for me to see how he's at 15 because I don't.
Tier 3 for me is wide receiver 7 through 12. And Keenan Allen.
For me, it's 6 through 14.
Okay.
So it's hard for me to see him at 15 because to me, there's a huge drop off from 14 to 15. So,
I have that at 15 to 16. So,
okay. Well, we'll see who slips in there. All right. So I don't think there's too much to talk about really with Keenan Allen.
No. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what Ryan's doing over there. He's making some mistake, but Keenan Allen's
definitely a mistake. Also, if you're in the chat, put some questions in the chat because otherwise I'll just rant about whatever I want. But if there's something you want me to
next receiver you want to talk about,
I'm willing to go out of order. But since there's nothing in the chat right now, let's move on to my number 10, which is Mike Evans.
I've got Evans at 7.
7's
I've
at
been-
7.
He starts off tier 3 for me.
6.
You
So
got
I actually have
6.
Evans the lowest.
Yeah, you got Evans
Um,
lowest.
Yeah, I have Evans the lowest.
Yeah, we're all kind of the same way about Evans. So we all feel like he's a lower end wide receiver 1. Like that's where Ryan is more in the middle, but
yeah,
like Mike Evans is just he's great with Chris Godwin out. I think the start is going to be unbelievable. Tom Brady's still in the offense. Like Mike Evans is just going to do what he's been doing for the past few seasons. That's just dominating.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason that didn't the report just come out today? In fact, that they're gonna not rush Godwin back, or was that yesterday? It was one of the 2 days.
recently.
Yeah, recently like someone said Godwin wouldn't be surprised if he's on the pup to start the season.
The only thing with Evans is that he has to, and the reason I have him at 10 and not 6 or 7
Is the
is
target
because
share.
he really not had. Yeah, he hasn't had like the monster target share in a
He was
long
58th.
time. Like last year, he had 114 targets.
Yeah,
74 receptions.
yeah,
He's had 13
he's a
and 14
big play
touchdowns.
touchdown guy. He's a
Yeah, but
big
he
play
hasn't had that
touchdown
many
guy.
yards either. He hasn't had that many yards either. It is only
No.
touchdowns.
I think
so.
but he keeps scoring them every single season. Like every single
Not
season,
every
he's
single.
around
No,
double digits.
just the last 2. Not every single. It's not like he always has double-digit touchdowns. Before that, it was 5, 8, and 8. It's not like 13 and 14 are the 2 highest touchdown totals of his career. Not every year. So it's not a guarantee. And if the touchdowns went away, and touchdowns are they are predictable, but they're more random than other stats. He doesn't have the yards, and he doesn't have the receptions. You do expect him to get more volume in the games that Godwin misses. And I do think that that's important. But I don't think you're going to get his 2016 where he had 173 targets. I don't even think you're going to get his 2018 where he had 138 targets. I don't even think you're going to get that. Or his 2019, which was probably like the most, where he had 118 targets in 13 games. I don't think you're going to get that either. So, and that's more targets. He had more targets in 2019 in 13 games than he had in either 2020 or 2021 in 16 games. So I think you're lucky if you duplicate, those 2018, 29 target numbers. So I just can't have him higher than 10 because I don't think, if you look at him versus Keenan Allen's volume is much more guaranteed for me. So that's why I went, and he has Justin Herbert, and I would rather have Justin Herbert as my fantasy quarterback than Tom Brady. So
yes, I would.
If I had to choose, I mean, in fantasy, I have Justin Herbert at 4 and Tom Brady at 9. So that tells you who I'd rather have.
Yeah.
I don't expect that much rushing from Justin Herbert. So I'd rather have Justin Herbert as a passer as well, because he could improve. What if Justin Herbert got better in year 3? I mean,
he's
better?
only gotten better so far in his career.
He's only got better. What if he got better again? Like that would be very scary.
Yeah,
if Justin Herbert threw for
the NFL
5,500
would be in
yards.
trouble.
They're not ready yet. They're not ready.
Keenan Allen would not be the wide receiver 15.
No,
No.
he wouldn't be the wide receiver 9 if Justin Herbert.
No, he would be like the wide receiver 5.
So that's why I lean Keenan Allen over Mike Evans. Now, if Chris Godwin were healthy for the whole year, I wouldn't have Mike Evans in my top, and that's also why I'm a little worried, because what if Chris Godwin becomes healthy? It's possible, and then I don't even like my
then that's different. Then I'm assuming I'm like with this ranking, I'm assuming Chris Godwin misses 4 games. I think he misses 4 games.
But 4 games is not that many games. I mean, what about the rest of the game?
No, it's not though. But the rest of the game, I think we see a really hot.
I
start
think
where he's in
10
top
is
3.
his ceiling if Chris Godwin were healthy the whole year. So, I think that's his ceiling. I think I would rank him around. I would rank him probably at the bottom of this. Honestly, I'm not sure. I would not rank him in this tier. If Chris Godwin were healthy, I would rank Chris Godwin in this tier and Evans in the next tier.
Oh yeah, Godwin would be Godwin if he was fully healthy. I knew he was going to be healthy. He would be nearing my top 12.
I would
I'd
rank
love
Godwin
that.
around 12 or 13, and Evans probably around 16 or
That's
17.
exactly where.
If they were both, both.
I'd
healthy,
have
but that's not
Evans
the
and
case.
Godwin. I'd have Evans and Godwin right around 12 back to back. But aside from Mike Evans, real quick, but
I've never been a big fan of Mike Evans. If that's not,
I've always been a Mike Evans guy. I've always been.
I've never been extremely high on Mike Evans in my yearly rankings. I'm always lower on him.
Yeah.
So
for the few years I've done fantasy, I've always loved Mike Evans.
And this year, consensus has him at 8, and I have him at 10, so I'm lower again.
Consensus is finally starting to catch up with the fact that Mike Evans is great.
He is. He's great.
Who do you got at 11, Tyler?
Me? Oh well, we'll talk about 11 and 12 together because I have 11 is Tyreek Hill and 12 is Jalen Waddle.
Ooh,
So
okay.
Yeah, I have Tyreek Hill at 11 and Jalen Waddle at 12. So
I got Hill at 11 and then I got Waddle at 16.
Yeah, 12-8 or 12-17.
Okay.
So if you're a contender in a 12-team Superflex PPR league, you're trying to acquire or get rid of Godwin, probably acquire, but I'm not sure I'd pay a 23 first for him.
I would not pay a 23 first. In a Superflex, no, not a 23 first. But in a one quarterback?
No, one quarterback I would. Yeah,
one quarterback, that makes it very interesting. I think that's overall a fair deal. But I think
I'm definitely trying to acquire, and I've seen him go for way less.
He's gone for way less in leagues. You should, Godwin is someone that's definitely worth targeting.
I like this layout better.
Yeah.
This layout is definitely a lot better.
Yeah.
Okay. What do we think about Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle? Because we
all have Tyreek Hill in the same place.
We all have Tyreek Hill in the same place, but we are a little bit.
What is it? 11,
a little lower.
Is it 11, 11, 11? Or
no, Ryan's got him at 12.
So 11, 11.
We're fine. Yeah. We're fine there. But you and me, Ryan, we've got Waddle lower. You've got him at 17. I've got him at 16. And then Tyler, you said you got him at 12, right?
12. And consensus has him at 15. So somewhere in the middle.
We're more with a little bit more with consensus.
Yeah, a little bit.
But the thing is with Waddle and Hill, because I like Tua. I think there's definitely a chance that he really takes a step forward and has a breakout. What's up?
It's funny because I have Tua at 18, quarterback 18.
Yeah, that's really interesting to me because like Tua, I've got at 14. I think Tua actually, I believe that Tua can take a step forward this year. But the problem is if he doesn't, and if we see what we've seen from Tua in the past couple seasons, mainly that, it's going to be I think it's going to be just a coin flip every week on who has the good week. And that's going to be so frustrating for you as a fantasy manager to have one of those guys on your team. It's just going to be an absolute headache that you're going to have to deal with every week. And if Tua isn't really that good, the upside of that player every week, of Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle, whoever, that's the great game, the upside is going to be like 20 points unless they score like 3 touchdowns. Like,
see, the thing is, the interesting thing is that I'm actually closer to the total if you look at consensus, whereas you guys are lower. Like the total has Hill at 7 consensus and Waddle at 15. So my 11 and 12 is saying that I pretty much agree with the idea of the total. I just am unwilling to put one at 7 and 115, whereas you guys are both lower on. You're lower on both.
Yeah, we see you guys are separation between the two.
You guys see the same separation, but you have them both lower, whereas I see the same total but have no separation. So it's actually interesting if you look at it that way. So we both half agree with consensus and half disagree.
I think it's just going to be if Tua really doesn't take a step forward, it's just going to be inconsistent. It's going to be a mess, and you're not.
But if it's inconsistent, then why do you have Hill so much higher?
I think
the difference.
I think it's going to favor Hill, though. I think it's going to favor Hill just because it's Tyreek Hill, and I think his talent is going to win over a little bit over Jalen Waddle. I don't have him that far separated, only by like a few spots.
Who do you think has more receptions?
I think Tyreek Hill has more receptions next year.
More receptions?
Yeah. I think I'd give that to Hill.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I'd give it to Tyreek Hill.
I think Jalen Waddle has more receptions.
Interesting. Yeah. This whole situation for next year is so interesting because it all depends on what Tua does. It all depends on how Tua favors which wide receiver. It all depends if he's actually good or not. It depends. It's just so many things. There's just so many things that could go wrong.
Obviously, my ranking, all of our rankings of Tyreek Hill say that we all think that Tyreek Hill is a dynasty sell. If that's given his dynasty price,
I
is
am
still top 10.
Selling Tyreek Hill so much right
now. None of us have Tyreek Hill as a top 10 redraft wide receiver, so he's obviously a dynasty sell.
Tyreek Hill, for me, it's interesting because I was talking about earlier with Keenan Allen. The first thing that wide receivers usually lose is speed, and that usually comes near like when wide receiver starts near 30. Tyreek Hill Tyreek Hill's a great receiver all around. But his main thing is his speed, right? Tyreek Hill without speed is not going to be a great fantasy producer. And once we see it, no one is going to want him on fantasy rosters. No one is going to want to buy him from you for a reasonable price. So I think a great time to sell is right now. Tyreek Hill, just get him off your roster. Because the Dolphins acquired so much to get him. They assigned him to a huge deal. People are believing in Tua that he can really take that step forward. I think we might see one more year of great Tyreek Hill, and then I'm going to start to be genuinely very, very concerned about how much longer Tyreek Hill has left as a great NFL producer. So I'm selling Tyreek Hill so hard right now.
That's how I have it. with Waddle with more targets and
Interesting.
receptions and Tyreek with more yards.
Yeah,
and
that-
touchdowns.
I think that's because that's the way Waddle was used last year. He was used as a short pass volume kind of guy.
That's what I expect to continue.
But okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I think both. I think both will be used all over the field. I think both will be used all over the field because Waddle's one of Waddle's strength is the deep ball, and I feel like they're going to want to try.
I agree with this too. I think you're getting 2016 and 20.
Yes.
You're getting Alex. I think you're getting Alex
Yes.
Smith, Tyreek Hill.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what
I think you're getting.
Kind
This was
of
the low end wide receiver 1, which is why I have him at 11.
Yeah, I think this is the Tyreek Hill we're gonna get. Very inconsistent, very boom and bust Tyreek Hill, and it's not.
I won't have any Tyreek Hill if I have him at 11.
Yeah,
a lot of Jalen Waddle if I have him.
I will have very little Tyreek Hill or Jalen because Jalen Waddle's going near the top 12 right now in most drafts or redraft.
He's going at 15, so I could easily have him.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to have much of Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle in drafts. I'm really not because I'm just so scared of the inconsistencies between the two and how much of a headache that is. I just don't want a headache on my fantasy roster. I really don't.
Just to be able to start him though.
Yeah, but I don't want to start him half the time he kills me.
Yeah, like Tyler Lockett-esque.
Oh God, Tyler Lockett.
Kind of like Tyler Lockett-esque. Yeah, where half the weeks he just kills you. But the problem is the upside, because with Tyler Lockett, the upside's like 35 points. Because I can give you those games. But if Tua is really struggling, you're not going to see a 30-point game from one of these guys. You're not going to see that because Tua is just not going to give you enough. So the upside is like 20 points. Like what? No, like I'm not going to deal with a guy 1 week he gives me like 18, next week gives me like 4. Like I'm not going to do that all year long.
No, I get it. All right. Let's see. So next is for me is T. Higgins, who I have at 13. I assume
I've got that Higgins at 9.
I'm 10.
10. Okay.
I feel like we already talked about T. Higgins.
You need to talk about T. Higgins.
I feel like I did my rant on T. Higgins already. We know why I have him at 13.
Yeah.
Like that was earlier.
We talked about T. Higgins.
Yeah,
so
I've talked about Yeah. I have Deontay Johnson at 14.
I have Johnson at 13, so I'm right with you.
Okay, so very
similar. He starts off tier 4 for me.
Oh, see, he's the end of this group for me.
Yeah.
Deontay Johnson.
He is. I've been considering putting him in tier 3, right next to AJ, right behind AJ Brown, because I think he definitely has a chance to be in the top 12. So I think there's a chance he deserves to be in that tier. So I've been considering moving up. I might move him up very soon. But yeah, Deontay Johnson, right at the end of tier 3, started tier 4 for me. What's up?
Neither of them.
What?
Neither of them. There's no other Debo. Stop it.
There's no Debo.
No other Debo. There's never going to be another Debo. Debo didn't want to be Debo.
No, Debo didn't want to. No,
Debo.
This is one of the. I'm sorry.
Chase Edmonds.
I'm not trying. I'm not. Yeah.
Chase it's okay.
Edmonds.
It's okay. FF Lefty is one of my biggest fans, so you can let it rip.
Yeah, I'm not trying to insult FF Lefty here, but that's one of the dumbest things I hear around the fantasy industry, that one of these guys is going to be Debo, because it's not going to happen.
I've said it myself that it's one of the dumbest narratives.
I know it's the same coach. I know it's one of those guys both guys have showed ability to.
I love you. I'm sorry.
One of those guys.
I love you.
Sorry, man. But yeah, one of those guys. Both guys have shown ability to be used in the backfield. I mean, Tyreek Hill has taken jet sweeps a lot of time in his career. We saw Jalen Waddle score a touchdown off a jet sweep. Like, we've seen these guys before both be used like that, but I don't think I think Mike McDaniel wants to bring out the best in his weapons, not just use all of them like Debo. I don't think that's what he's here to do. I think he's used here to bring out the speed and the yak ability, the deep threat ability in Hill and Waddle, rather than make them Debo.
They signed 3 free agent running backs. I don't think they signed 3 free agent running backs to use a wide receiver's running back.
They did not.
That makes no. So they're planning to use running backs. So that's not going. This is not going to happen. So
yeah, it's not.
Ridiculous narrative that only people who, are not thinking about it that much would ever come up with. It's not happening.
I think we see some jet sweep usage though. Maybe
you can always see it, but it's going to be gadget play.
Robert
Woods had a couple. Yeah, Robert Woods had rushing yards every year.
Yeah, Robert Woods.
But it wasn't relevant. We didn't care.
No, so, he had a lot of seasons. Like most seasons, wouldn't he get to 150, 200 rushing yards?
Something like that. Yeah, but that's what 10 yards a game. I mean, that's not.
Yeah,
No, we're not
feel
going to talk more about T. Higgins. We've talked about T. Higgins enough.
We've talked about T. Higgins a ton in the show.
T. Higgins comes up almost every show as well. He's a very popular player.
He is a very
I
popular.
feel like it's Deontay Johnson we should talk about because consensus has him at 13. I guess there's not much to talk about because I have him at 14. Consensus at 13. You
Ryan, where do you got him?
Ryan at 11.
11.
Ryan at 11. Yeah, like he's just gonna get a ton of volume in a improved offense with an improved quarterback. So, right there. I mean, wide receiver where did he finish last year? Wide receiver 9. I feel bad. I feel bad having him at 13. I feel
it's a quarterback.
I'm a tiny bit concerned because what if Mitch Trubisky or Kenny Pickett, whoever the starter is, doesn't have the same tendencies as Big Ben to hyper target Deontay Johnson? They did bring in George Pickens as well. We got to think about that. They did invest a second round pick in him, and Steelers with their second wide receivers have been on fire lately.
Yeah, but they got rid of Juju, so
Deontay,
they got rid of Juju.
Yeah, but he was hurt all year last year.
Yeah, but they still got rid of him.
They still got rid of him, but he was hurt all year last year, which means he wasn't there to compete with.
It's okay. Getting rid of him was an improvement. The offense will actually be better. I think it would be better actually if they actually had no receivers on the field instead of Juju. It would be better. Just put in an extra offensive lineman, and that would help more. That's what
that would definitely help.
No. Tyreek's high in rushing yards in his career. Rushing attempts in his career is 24.
Yeah, he's not.
No. Over a whole season.
He's not.
No. Nope.
Ooh.
Nope. Yeah.
Where's Pittman in the comments? Someone saying where's
Patience.
Pittman?
Patience.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
Patience. Will we? The rate we're going, maybe not.
Maybe not.
In my ranking, he's coming up soon.
Yeah, he's not that far away. All right, so let's recap this tier from me, and then let's if there was anyone that you guys had in this tier who I don't or whatever, we'll talk about them.
Tier 3, right?
Tier 3.
Okay,
so for me, tier 3 starts with CeeDee Lamb, then AJ Brown, then Deebo Samuel, and Keenan Allen, Mike Evans, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, T. Higgins, and Deontay Johnson. And I'll just remind the people that all of these rankings are available on my Patreon. We're talking through it here. I update them all the time. If you want the updated rankings, they're on my Patreon. I update them frequently. So it's a good, yes, these shows are kind of trying to promote that to a degree. But yeah.
So my tier 3, I think the only player I have in tier 3 that you don't is Mike Evans. Tier 3 starts off. Oh, you had Mike Evans tier 3?
Yeah, I have him at 10.
Oh yeah, wait, hold on. Who was lower on Mike Evans? Ryan was lower on Mike Evans.
No, right? I was lower, but I had him at 10.
I had him at 6.
I was lower, but I still had him at 10.
Sorry, no. You were lower on Keenan Allen at 15. Yeah,
Keenan
I
Allen,
had.
Yeah.
So my tier 3 starts off number 7 Mike Evans, 8 Keenan Allen, 9 T Higgins, 10 CeeDee Lamb, 11 Tyreek Hill, and number 12 AJ Brown. That wraps up tier 3, and then at tier.
So you don't have any extra players in there. You just don't have. You don't have Waddle and Deontay Johnson in there.
I do not, but I think I might move Deontay up.
And you have Deebo in the higher tier. But you're not missing
higher tier.
There's nobody that I missed.
No,
I actually have a bigger tier. And then Ryan, is there anyone I missed in my
top
group?
12? No.
Top 14 for me. Yeah.
I think we'll talk about some of these guys later because I feel like that's controversial because I have them above Keenan Allen.
I have Courtland Sutton in the top 14. I don't know.
Yeah, we may or may not get to Courtland Sutton today.
What? You guys have him that low?
I think it's just me.
I think I'm in the middle.
Okay.
Maybe not. I have Courtland Sutton higher than I once did.
I'm higher on Sutton.
But anyway, so there's no one I left off. So let's move on to 15. So I have a very small mini tier. Tier 4 is only
tier
3
4
players.
is 13. Tier 4 is 13 through 20 for me. I have a
so tier 4 is 15, 16, and 17 for me. It's tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 15 for me is DK Metcalf. 16 DJ Moore, and 17 is Pittman.
Okay.
And that's it.
I've got Metcalf at 19. I've got Pittman at 15, and I got DJ Moore at 22.
I got Pittman at 18, DJ Moore at 20, and DK at 13 above Keenan Allen.
13.
Okay. So we have a lot of disagreement. Disagreement. So for me, I kind of have, and I'm debating really, does Deontay Johnson, it's how confident. Deontay Johnson, I debated really which tier he belongs in. Does he belong in with those guys? I think I'm lower on the Deontay Johnson than both of you because I am not I have him ranked lower, and I would consider putting him in this tier with these guys because I'm not confident in Deontay Johnson like I am with the others, but I'm more confident in him than these three. So it's kind of like he's weird. He doesn't really fit in with either tier to me. So I debated where to put him, but yeah, for me, these three players have something that my tier 5, which is large. Tier 5 is 18 through 26 for me. These three players, DK Metcalf, DJ Moore, and Michael Pittman, have some good thing about them that the next tier does not. The next tier does not have. DK Metcalf has extreme talent. I think he's the most talented wide receiver by far left in my rankings. By far.
Yep.
I don't think by far. I don't think it's even close. He's by far the most talented wide receiver left, but his situation is horrible. If I knew that DK Metcalf had Jimmy Garoppolo, even Baker Mayfield, I would probably rank a DK Metcalf in the higher tier above Deontay Johnson at 14. With Baker or Jimmy.
Yeah, with Baker or Jimmy, DK would be up at like 13, 14 for me, right around that, starting off tier 4.
With Baker, I think it would be 14. With Jimmy, I think it would be even higher. I think it would be 11 or 10 or 11.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, I've got DK 19. Yeah, I mean the volume's gonna go DK's way. He's gonna get that volume, but it's just going to be a problem because the quarterbacks are not there.
I think with DK, it's just there's little point in talking about DK now because the DK conversation is going to change based on who the quarterback is. And I think it's different whether it's Drew Lock or Geno Smith too.
It doesn't change that much to me, honestly. I mean,
I'd rather have Drew Lock.
I'd rather have Drew Lock as well because he chucks the ball. I'd rather have Drew Lock because he chucks the ball.
I don't want Geno Smith. I don't want Geno Smith.
I'm okay with Geno Smith.
I'm not okay with Geno Smith.
In the 3 games Geno Smith started, he had 2 wide receiver 1 finishes. Come on now.
Geno Smith is more of a runner, so I don't want him.
Yeah, Metcalf did perform well with DK.
In only 3 games.
It was only 3 games, though.
It was only 3 games,
not big enough of a sample size.
He's not going to get. They're going to get good games.
Be fair,
this year they're going to be terrible.
Consensus has Pittman at 14, Moore at 16 with me, and Metcalf at 19.
Yeah, I've got Metcalf at 19 with Fantasy Bros. But with Fantasy,
it has.
I've got Pittman up with them too. I got Pittman at 15.
Yeah, so it has them in the opposite order that I have them. Deontay and AJ Brown have a weird correlation, less targets, but better. No, AJ Brown's going to have more targets, I think, actually.
You think AJ will have more targets than Deontay?
Remember, AJ Brown's coming from a run-first offense to another one that paid him more. So I think that AJ Brown's actually going to have more targets, not less.
Wow. Oh, I mean, wait, more targets than Deontay?
More targets. No, more targets. I think AJ Brown is going to increase in targets this year, and Deontay is going to decrease in targets this year, not versus each other.
Okay, that's fair. I thought you were saying AJ Brown's got more targets than Deontay Johnson. I was like, no,
I'm just saying I disagree with this correlation narrative. That's not how I see it.
No, it's not yet. They're both going in different directions. Deontay should go down a little bit, and AJ Brown should go up. Yeah,
exactly. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk. With DK Metcalf, I feel like we can table Metcalf because that's going to change, and DJ Moore a little bit the same. I have DJ Moore, but DJ Moore, I feel like my rank of DJ Moore is a little less. I'd rather, as crazy as this is, I'm more confident in Sam Darnold than I am in Drew Lock, or like not okay with, but Sam Darnold is not the disaster that Drew Lock and Geno Smith are. DJ Moore was very productive at the beginning of last year with Sam Darnold. And then when Sam Darnold went out and it was Cam Newton, it was a disaster. The other quarterbacks, it was a disaster. But DJ Moore was actually really good right at the start. So it's not going to change my rank of DJ Moore as much. He would not jump. He would maybe hang on to the bottom of the next tier with Baker or Jimmy, but not as much. Whereas DK Metcalf would move more.
DJ Moore with Baker or Jimmy would go to where you have him for me. I've got him at 22. I feel like wide receiver 16 is pretty much his ceiling.
Like that's where his consensus rank is, though. So it's not.
I think you're ranking him at his absolute ceiling, and I don't think that's very
I also think that for me, I'm more confident that the quarterback change in Carolina is coming, whereas I'm less confident that the quarterback change in Seattle is coming.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
So if you look at it that way, but like I said, Sam Darnold, I think did actually make DJ Moore good at the beginning of last year. It did happen.
He did help him. Yeah, the offense was running.
It was.
And then
Yeah, it was.
and then McCaffrey got hurt, and then
the
Sam
engine
Darnold
went away,
fell.
and then Darnold got hurt, and then everything.
Darnold saw ghosts, and it was bad.
And then everything just fell apart. But it was running. The first 3 weeks they were great. First 3 weeks they were 3-0.
The first 3 weeks, Carolina Panthers looked like a playoff team.
Oh no, they look great. I was like, Sam Darnold is like the guy, like everything. Yeah, but
then
so I'm just not as concerned, and that's why I have DJ. Also, I do think that Bateman's a while off.
Ooh, I don't
Bateman's a while. No, I've got Bateman at 30.
Yeah,
so he'd be.
I have Bateman at 25.
Given that I probably have to head out in about 5-ish minutes, so I don't think he'll make it for me.
Yeah,
I mean, if we use my rankings, we would. So that's
so
Bateman through here.
For me, like DK at 15, Moore at 16, and then we talked about those guys. And they have quarterback questions, so we talk more about them later.
Messed up.
Yeah.
For their own ranking.
And then I have Pittman at 17.
Okay.
And, I think we more agree about him.
Yeah, he's just going to be a guy with a ton of volume, have a lot of touchdown, red zone opportunity with Matt Ryan, an upgraded quarterback. He should be, creeping around top 15.
Ryan, where do you have Pittman?
18.
18? Oh, so almost exactly with me.
So yeah, I'm a little higher. I have 15.
Oh, you still have him in this tier. You still have him in your 4th tier.
Tier 4, yeah.
So we all with Pittman, I think we more agree than on Metcalf and Moore. But Metcalf and Moore are kind of like quarterbacks are still up in the air, so we can reevaluate a little bit more later. But again, Pittman has upside to me. Pittman has people demand it. This is a joke. I always say that the people I have a thing where I always say the people demand more Addison.
Yeah.
And, now Mr. Ridley, the truther, is saying people demand more Ryan too. And I think they do. I think that they do demand it. I will say that I am well aware that I have been more me on this show than I have been over the last few months. And this is probably one of my most talkative shows. And, I'm just happy to be back, I would say, as like the old Tyler. The old Tyler. Yeah, there's been so many Tyler versions, but the energetic, happy Tyler.
Yeah, I remember being on a few Ask DLFs with you. We had our conversation after, and I remember this is the most energetic I've ever seen you on a show. This is awesome, dude.
Yeah, I used to be like this on every show. Every time I did Ask DLF, I was like this every time, and that's been a long time. But I'm happy to be back with that energy because I love being that guy. So and Pittman I had in this tier because I feel like he could take a year 3 leap. He has Matt Ryan. His second year was good, but he could become more consistent. I wrote an article about Pittman as well. It's something a little bit of
like no target competition either.
Not really, no.
You'd be hyper targeted.
My fear with Pittman, why I only have him at 17, is I think Matt Ryan is kind of cooked. Like I think he's better than Carson Wentz, maybe if he can duplicate the last season. But if it's going to be a further decline from Matt Ryan, then we have a problem. And Pittman if Matt Ryan sucks, Pittman's being sucked down with him. So that's why I only have him at 17 in this tier, but at 17 and not at 14 where consensus has it.
I just don't see a world where we don't see a world where Matt Ryan is worse than Carson Wentz, right? I do.
I think the world exists. It's not my prediction, but Matt Ryan is 37. So if Matt Ryan were just a disaster, that is in the range of outcomes. And that's why I have Pittman's range of outcomes goes down.
Not much worse. Not like absolutely.
Oh, yes. 37. Matt Ryan is not hyper arm talented. He is not anymore. He hasn't been for years. If the accuracy goes too, if the processor goes, if the pocket mobility goes, and you're 37, that could go at any time. If that goes, remember, Peyton Manning went from great to done, and Matt Ryan is a shell of what Peyton Manning ever was. So, if that could come at 37. And if it came, Michael Pittman's being sucked with him because Michael Pittman is that. I mean, DeAndre Hopkins had a year where he was sucked down by bad quarterback play. And Michael Pittman is no DeAndre Hopkins. So Michael Pittman has ranges of outcomes in the 30s. Even if he does nothing wrong, even if he plays well, he has a range of outcomes that's in the 30s. So that's why I have him at 17 and not at 13 or 14. I do like him, though. I really wish he were on a team with a better quarterback because then I think he has a 5 to 10 range of outcomes as a talent, but because of his situation, I only have him at 17.
Yeah, that's fair.
But we're not that different.
Yeah, we're not that different. All right, but guys, I think I gotta hop out.
All right.
All right, y'all.
Thanks for coming on,
Yeah,
and
thanks for coming on,
Of
Hutch.
course,
we will
yeah.
have another show at some point soon.
Oh yeah, I love doing these. These are so fun. This is so
Yeah,
fun.
no, I love these.
Yeah.
But yeah,
All right,
thanks
I'll
for
see
coming
you
on.
guys. Thanks everybody
All
for
right.
watching.
See ya.
See ya.
Follow Hutch. Follow him.
Yeah, follow him on.
Follow him. Follow his
Follow
work.
him on
at
Twitter.
DLF too. DLF
Yeah.
too. His
At
articles at DLF.
I'm at TYFMNFL on Twitter, and you can find pretty much all my content from there. Peace out, everybody.
All right.
Thanks for having me on, Tyler.
Yeah, no problem. All right, what do you want to do now? Do you want to continue with wide receivers, or do you want to just do the Patreon giveaway and just kind of close out the show? Because
It's up to you. I'm down for whatever. So
down for whatever. All right. Here's what I think we should do. I think let's stop wide receivers now. Let's stop wide receivers now, and we'll pick up my big tier next week.
that
we
works.
spend so much time talking about redraft. It's kind of crazy that we, but, I kind of like it. It gives us a segment we can do, and then we have the other stuff. But I think we'll stop wide receivers there, and then because we have some other stuff on the spreadsheet.
This works for a lot of things people are doing right now. Even though it's not technically redraft season, there's a lot of people drafting their best ball teams right now for DraftKings, Underdog. There's still drafting going on.
All right. Also, can you get like a randomizer for me?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what to put in it.
Okay.
All right. So here's so we have
picker.
so go to the video from last week, and then there's you can see the 4 people who entered the contest. So can you put that in a randomizer, and I'll vamp while you're doing that.
Yep. Sounds good.
All right. Okay. So we'll leave wide receivers there because I have a couple of other things that were news that I didn't want to take. I knew that Conan and Hutch were not going to be on for the whole show. I didn't want to take I wanted to hear the maximum amount of time for them on wide receivers, especially, Hutch. We hadn't heard his rankings yet, any of his rankings. So I wanted to get his opinion. Whereas the stuff we're going to talk about, I will be honest, I feel like kind of like what we opened the show with is more something that I feel like I'd like to it's less of a conversation and more just I have things to say. So the first thing we're going to discuss is I put this on the show sheet as a segment that the Deshaun Watson incident, everything is a lot of things have happened since the last time we were on the show. So he settled 20 of the 24 cases. He did settle 20 of 24. Now let's just think about this. That's great, right? He settled 20 of 24. Now, what if that sounds good, but let's reframe this. What if I told you that there were no cases? And what if I told you he has 4 cases against him, 4 pending cases? Would that would sound bad, right? That would sound like a bad thing. So that would be very bad. 4 cases is a lot of cases. 4 cases is a lot, not 1 case, 4 cases. So it sounds good that he settled 20 of 24, but there's still 4. And that's a lot. So I wouldn't, and the case, the one case I think that is really a problem is that the Ashley Solis case is going forward. That one I think is a big problem. I don't think he's going to be able to play until that case is resolved. That case has the most bad publicity. That one had the HBO special, the interviews at the beginning. That case will not go away, will not fade from people's minds. Well, he's not going to be playing until that case is done. He needs to settle that case or do something about it because he's not going to be able to play. Well, if that case is moving forward, I don't think he's going to play until that case is finished because that one has the most potential liability, I would say, against him. With that being said, the NFL will argue for an indefinite suspension, which is what I would do if I were the NFL, because he can't play while that Solis case, the Ashley Solis case, is going forward. We can't have him play. It won't work to have him on the field and ask the commentator to talk about that. How are you going to talk about the game? It's going to constantly come up. It's going to come up all the time while that case is moving forward. So they want an indefinite suspension of at least a year, similar to Calvin Ridley's suspension. It's actually the same terms is what they want. Indefinite suspension, minimum of a year. And then after a year, he can apply for reinstatement. And if the commissioner decides at that stage to reinstate him, he'll be reinstated, but it's no guarantee. That's what the NFL is seeking in this case. And they're looking at 5 cases. I assume the Solis case is one of them. Their findings are really actually not based on all 24 cases. Maybe they didn't get a chance to, or not all the women wanted to talk to the NFL. And that's, I can respect that. They have 5 cases that they're basing their case on. I assume the Solis case is one of them. And they will hear, the judge, Sue L. Robinson, will hear the case tomorrow. She will hear case tomorrow. So, and these arbitrations do not usually last a very long time. This is not going to be a 3-week process. She will hear the NFL's case, and then the NFLPA will get their opportunity to present their case, and then the judge will hand down a decision. But let's remember that the final decision, if the NFL doesn't like the judge's ruling, they can appeal to Roger Goodell, who is the NFL. So Roger Goodell is going to get the final say. So he can just decide, thank you, judge, but it's going to be a year, and then we'll see what I feel like potentially reinstating Deshaun Watson. Then maybe he'll be reinstated at that point. But when I feel like it, and I do think that Goodell will do that. So I think that prepare for Deshaun Watson not to play this year. I don't think so. I don't think he's going to be able to play this year. I think Watson's suspension could be even longer. We know why Ridley's suspension was long, though. We know why. And I don't disagree with it from an NFL perspective, why Ridley was a long suspension. They have billions of dollars tied up in this gambling that they want to do. They want to have gambling. You can't have an NFL player betting on games when you have billions of dollars invested in a gambling operation. You can't have an appearance of impropriety. That you can't have that. So I actually agree with putting the hammer down on Calvin Ridley. They had to. I would have done it if I'd been the NFL. I would have put the hammer down on Calvin Ridley. If it were up to me, I think Ridley's suspension was fair, and Deshaun Watson would be never playing the NFL again. That's if it were up to me. That's what I would do. But they have a collectively bargained process, and you don't just have dictator rights over just being able to do that. So there's a process. You can't just suspend him for life. It's not in the CBA to be able to do that. You have to go through the disciplinary process here. So, while I would like that, that's not possible. It's going to have to be some time. It's not forever. But I would like it to be for multiple years if it were up to me. But anyway, so prepare for Deshaun Watson not to play. And I think that you're going to get that news handed down in the next 2 weeks before training camp. I think what would be very convenient, the hearing is going to be this week. I think if they could get the ruling out by July 1st, on July 1st, that's a great time to drop it for the NFL. Everyone's going away for the vacation. You drop the ruling on midday on July 1st on Friday. Nobody's paying any attention. You just try to slide it by, out of the news cycle. That sounds like what the NFL would do. So, but I do expect to hear the ruling very soon, which means that people will finally realize that Deshaun Watson is not going to play this year. So keep that in mind for your dynasty planning. But I just wanted to talk about that because there's been so many updates this week. I mean, between the cases settled, the hearings, the other things. I mean, there's so many things. The NFL is arguing for the lengthy indefinite suspension was this week. So there's just so many things that have come up this week. So just keep it in mind. If you have Deshaun Watson, now is not the time to sell. I would probably wait until the suspension. I don't even know. Sell whenever you want. I've been trying to say to sell the whole time. But at the time to sell was when the cases were settled. And I told you to do it. When the cases were settled before the news of the indefinite possible suspension came out, that was your sell window. And now it's a little late. So hopefully you sold during that. I saw some good deals for him trading away during that period. But yeah, I've dropped him additionally in my rankings. So yeah, I would look to move on if I could from Deshaun Watson. Do you have anything to add? I know I've literally been talking for
No, you've been handling it well. I agree. So I agree with most of your points.
And I would suggest, I rarely ever suggest watching this channel, but I actually would suggest go and watch Pro Football Talk. I never liked Pro Football Talk, never. But actually about Deshaun Watson, I actually think that Florio has been doing a good job covering the Deshaun Watson situation. He's actually been doing a good job. So I would actually go suggest watch some of his content. It's actually about this. It's actually been pretty good. Rarely I like him and Chris Sims. Very rare, especially with Chris Sims' quarterback's opinions. But in this case, I actually feel like he's done a good job covering the legal and PR aspects of it. So I would recommend it. Go watch it on YouTube. Okay, Carolina or Seattle for Baker's new home. I don't think he'll take another snap in Cleveland. Yeah, I agree with you. I do think, though, there's an outcome that Baker goes to one of these places and the 49ers actually restructure Jimmy's contract and have him as backup, an insurance contract. So it's not a guarantee that both Carolina and Seattle get one of them. So that's why I'm not assuming it. But I'm leaning Carolina actually for Baker right now.
I feel like I'm leaning Seattle, honestly. The rumors and
it just seems like Carolina's more interested to me, no?
That's fair. I mean, it's a 50-50 coin flip at this point.
Yeah.
But I do agree. I think the 49ers are going to keep Jimmy as well.
The restructure.
Especially if Baker goes to Carolina. There's no way they're shipping Jimmy to Seattle.
I know.
No way.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. All right. Let's see. So we talked about Watson.
Yep.
We talked about Godwin on PUP enough. Dobbins' injury reports are all over the place. We can just keep an eye on J.K. Dobbins and his injury reports because literally 1 week it's like he's going to be ready for training camp. The next week it's like he's not going to be ready until halfway through, like a little bit into the season. Just keep watching. Keep an eye on J.K. Dobbins. Be careful.
Mm-hmm.
And then, there was Chris Evans hype. We don't really need to talk about that. Desmond Ridder may just keep an eye on him. I think that of the quarterback battles, I think that one is legitimate. As in, Ridder can win that battle. I don't think I think Mitch Trubisky is going to start week 1, no matter what. I don't think Kenny Pickett can win that battle. I think that's not a competition.
I think it'll be by midseason, though.
That's not the same thing.
I know.
Like, I don't think that. Yeah, no, but I don't think that that's a quarterback competition. I think we know Mitch Trubisky is going to start week 1. I do legitimately think Desmond Ridder could start week 1. And then in Carolina, I'm thinking someone else is going to be added, but I don't think that's a legitimate competition either. I think if it's between Darnold and Corral, it's going to be Darnold.
Yeah.
But yeah, there aren't that many legitimate quarterback competitions. There usually aren't, like in the NFL. I think that the legitimate ones are Seattle as of now. Like if it's Locke versus Smith, I think that's legitimate. And then the Falcons are legitimate competition. Okay, so what else was on there? Oh, no, that's it for news. So the only thing we have to do is if you made it this far in the show, I appreciate you. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, leave a comment, especially if you're watching after. Leave a comment in the live stream. That really helps, but really helps to watch the video. Most of our views, I'd say, depending on the week, it's at least 80%, sometimes up to 90% of the views on this show are after the show is not live. I think most people, we interact with the chat, but it's not like Ask DLF, which is specifically an ask question show. Like we have segments and stuff. Like this is less of a live show and more of a hybrid podcast thing, especially in the off season. In the regular season, I feel like it's more planning for it to be more of a question show. But this is more of a podcast. So yeah, most of our views are after. So if you're watching this after, leaving a comment really helps the algorithm. So. But of course, subscribing and hitting the bell and all that. But commenting really helps with this video. YouTube if you comment on the video, YouTube thinks that it's like a hot video, and then it just keeps showing up in other people's feeds, and it snowballs and snowballs and snowballs. So just keep that in mind. Oh, thank you. All right, did you get the randomizer up for the?
It was 4 names, correct?
Yeah. Can you read them back to me?
It was. Hold on, I can bring it up on the screen.
I don't think any of them were real names, but
they weren't. I don't think.
Yeah, but that's okay. I think I can find all of these people.
Chrome tab. I got a random wheel.
A wheel. All right, a wheel.
I got a wheel.
Oh my God, you really do have a wheel. Okay, there is one real name in here.
There's
one. Two, yeah. Yeah. All right.
I already forgot that I typed them. Oh boy.
Oh my God, we can actually see the wheel.
We can actually see the wheel. Yep.
All right. I don't think there were any last minute entries into the contest. So let's spin the wheel.
All right. And you can see I haven't spun it at all. So just,
All right. Spin the wheel.
Give it a go.
All right. Let's go. So we're spinning the wheel. So whoever it lands on is getting a free month of my $5 tier for July, or just starting now until the end of July. Okay, so Justin Tech, I know who you are, so I will find you on Twitter. You were here in the chat, weren't you?
I think he was, yeah.
Yep. So I know where you are on YouTube, but I will find you, and I will give you your free, from now until July 31st, and then if you want to continue, we'll figure. Oh, there he
He
is.
is here. There he is.
Yeah. So I'll find you on Twitter, and I'll give that to you. Otherwise, next week, I think we will continue with wide receivers because why not? We have next week. Okay. So yeah. So that's it for this show. Next week, the show will be on. So Monday is July 4th. So we're not going to record on July 4th. So we are going to do the show Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern. 2 p.m. Eastern. I will put out the link to the show early. So just make sure you hit the bell so you're notified about it. Make sure, if you subscribe, you'll be notified about it as well, and eventually in your feed. But yeah, Tuesday, week from tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern is actually when we're going to do next week's show to avoid recording on July 4th. So just keep that in mind. And yeah, I know it's been a little confusing with all of there's been more time changes than normal. I promise once we get into the season, we won't take during the season. I'm too busy. The show can't change time. We'll pick one time and we will stick to it no matter what.
Yeah.
Even holidays, like we'll just do the show at whatever the time is. But there are a good amount of holidays. Than some
on a Monday this year. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, July 4th is not always on a Monday, which is kind of.
I know, but this year it feels like all the holidays have been landed on Mondays.
Yeah, July 4th is the one that like moves days. So yeah, that one having that one on a Monday is like an extra one. But
yeah.
But anyway, so if you're still here, follow us on Twitter.
Yeah.
Where you can see mostly football from me and then some other stuff. There's my nails. My friend Ayushi did these. So thank you, Ayushi, for painting my nails. I appreciate you. And yeah, other than that, I know Dynasty Outhouse is big on nail polish. I've seen him with his nails. So I'm glad I could join that club. And then, next week on Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, we'll be here. We have no guests. It'll just be the three of us. And then after that, I have Ask DLF tomorrow at the regular time. It's me, Cal, and John Hesserman. And that's it. Have a good day.
Yeah. See you.
Thanks for watching the show. And I love you. Peace.